Hey guys, it's Childish and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at some of the account review questions that we got over the past weekend here at the Summoners War Chicago meetup. Now, if you guys are one of those people out there that are relatively new to the game or maybe an intermediate player, then this is going to be the video for you. So stick around, stay tuned. I'm going to have something for you in here in a little bit. But before we get into that though, thank you guys so much for your support. As always, I appreciate you all clicking on this video. If you are a fan of this kind of content, you want to see more down the road, y'all know what to do. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and of course, hit the notification bell so you guys know when the next video drops. So again, if you guys have no idea what just went down, this last weekend, Summoners War Chicago meetup that went down at the Juliana restaurant I think it was about 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. So at this particular event, we did a wide variety of things to include a King of the Hill RTA. We did some account reviews. We did some dungeon challenges. So the cool thing about it is that we had a chance to sit one-on-one with a lot of the people that came out to the event that were interested in getting their account reviewed. And as you guys might have guessed, there's obviously a lot of questions that they had that were specific to their account, but there was a lot of things that they had questions about that were honestly generally just basic kind of things that I think a lot of you guys can take advantage of. So I wanted to go ahead and summarize those and kind of hit those in this video, okay? First and foremost here, I want to start out with a question that I generally start. I talk to the people when they ask me the question, right? Somebody's going to come up to me and say, okay, you know what? This is what I'm looking at. I want you to take a look at my account, see what I should fix, and see what I should kind of work on, okay? Well, as you guys might have guessed, it's a very general question. So I basically started out the question with asking them a question saying, hey, you know what? Like, what is your focus? What are you looking to do? Are you trying to do RTA? Are you trying to do Siege? Are you trying to just make better Guild War defenses? Are you trying to, speed up your dungeon runs? Like, what is your ultimate goal? And unfortunately, which is kind of, it's unfortunate that it had to go this way, but the majority of the people that asked their initial question about their account really had no idea what they were trying to do. So, simply put, for those of you guys that are relatively new to the game, coming into the game, maybe, just like 6 months to 12 months or something like that, just kind of keep in mind that while, you're going to have yourself, just a handful of units, a handful of runes, keep in mind that a lot of things that you want to do, a lot of things that you see other people do, yes, they have been able to really make the best of what they got. But simply put, and again, we're going to get into this in the last topic here, but there is quite a bit of farming that needs to be done on the back end to basically get yourself that room depth needed to be successful. I can't stress this enough because ultimately nobody wants to sit there and ask a ton of questions and then ultimately get that, get that topic or get that response like that, farm more. But yeah, it basically ended up coming down to that, not only just farming more, but just kind of figuring out what they actually want to do, because this is a game that just has way too much content into it. And it's very, very hard for somebody new or relatively new to the game to jump in there and do everything they want to do. So just kind of keep that in mind, because again, we're going to address this here a little bit later, but I will say this, the majority of the people that came up to me that had the questions, unfortunately realized that they just couldn't do everything that they wanted to do. So we decided to either work on Guild War defenses or Guild War offenses or Siege defenses or Siege offense. First, focusing on 4-star units versus 5-star units, focusing on just straight RTA. We had to, just kind of focus on things specifically, and then again, prioritizing which runes should go on those teams so we can get the most value of, okay? Next topic, and again, this was probably a pretty common topic with my cousin myself, was RTA team building. When it comes to RTA team building, I always tip my hat off to the end game players out there, those G1 through G3 players out there. I mean, honestly, there's a lot of players out there that are, higher up than me that know a lot of content. But the one thing that I always sit back when it comes to my general strategy, providing any kind of account review, is when they show me their team, when they show me what they're trying to do here, I ask them, so, okay, you're looking at bringing in, a turn one comp. Who's your 2 speed leads? Who's your 2 strippers? Who's your 2 snipers? Who's your 2 attack bar reduction, whatever kind of comp you have, what is your comp, and does it have 2 of everything? That's the biggest component that I believe a lot of people are forgetting about. They need to have 2 of everything, and I'm gonna give you an example here in just a little bit. So, as you might have guessed, a lot of people, have a specific unit or units that they were really looking to utilize. But once they kind of broke down their team, and we said, okay, if flip the script and take a look at this team from the side, tell me, what would you ban? to make yourself have the best jump. And if they only had one DPS dealer, they get rid of DPS dealer, the damage dealer. If they only had one support, they had one support. If they only had one strip and you're bringing double immunity, they would ban the stripper, right? It's all about having units that provide a wide variety in their kit, very versatile units that can not only bring you what you want on a specific component, whether it's strips, defense breaks, isn't that whatever, but just have that ability to have two units that are going to be bringing it, both of those things in there. Okay. Now again, using myself as an example, you guys already saw from my previous seasons, the big team that I've been utilizing is the Tomoe Layla Hagang comp, right? This is a very, very popular comp. It was, a lot of people use it, but it was highly popularized by Sean B in his RTA strategy video, which I still recommend everybody check out. One of the things that I always did was, utilize a comp, and then I just got away with doing literally what the people in Chicago did is like, oh, I got this LD5, I got the Ziana, oh, I just got this new, LD5 out there. And I'm using that now as well. So I'm like, I just want to use these because these make sense, right? LD5, they got a lot in their kit. They got the defense breaks, they got the dots, and Tomoe's gonna, strip those, spread those dots. It's good. We're gonna be good to go, right? But the funny thing of the situation is, it wasn't until I got rid of some of my LD5s and started using some basic units, like Beth, like Amber, so on and so forth. But I want to focus on Beth specifically. Okay, I know I'm probably doing a disservice because I'm not showing you guys exactly what's going on. But again, we're getting back to what we're talking about, which is, does your team have two of everything? Does your team have everything you need so that if they ban one thing, you still have everything you need to do to be successful? And the biggest issue when it comes to a Tomoe Layla Hagang comp is dealing with the units that can cleanse. The Junos, the Vermoses, okay, the Sirens, or whatever the case may be, all those units out there that are absolutely toxic to your comp, it's gonna give you a hard time if you don't have things to kind of counteract it. And the biggest thing that, of course, Sean B and other people, realize when it comes to that comp is having the ability to stop that cleanse, the anti-cleanse, the anti-cleanse that you're going to get from Layla, the anti-cleanse you're going to get from Beth. I was not utilizing Beth because I was just like, why would I use the regular Beth when I just got the LD5 version of Beth, right? The Asima. What's the point of that, right? She can cycle, she can dot, she can defense break. She gets everything that Beth has just simply on Ceres, but what she doesn't have is an anti-cleanse. And the anti-cleanse was crucial for my success in case they had multiple units that did the cleansing aspect. If I did not have that anti-cleanse and they banned Layla, I was in deep trouble, okay? If they had multiple strippers or strippers that are countered, I had dealing with, they can counter Hagang, they didn't worry about Hagang. They banned the Layla to get rid of it. I was in trouble, okay? So, again, when you are creating your comp, whatever it is, if you're doing a regular bruiser comp, if you're doing a turn one comp, a crowd control comp, whatever like that, when it comes to your control or your damage or your effective HP, when it comes to just being tanky bruisey, do you have two of everything? Do you have everything that you need to be successful so that if they ban one, you're not going to be at a huge disadvantage, okay? Next one up is going to be arena defense mode, and this is the one that kind of makes me cringe to no end because everybody wants to work on this one. And then even more so with the fact that now we have this whole new arena defense going in through arena defense or AD, whatever, the arena 2.0, and everybody's kind of talking about it, right? So simply put, arena defense is not really a thing. If you guys are relatively new to the game, or maybe intermediate to the game, stop focusing on arenas, stop focusing on arena defense and focus on arena offense. And the reason why I say that is because when it comes to arena defense here, if you're going up against arena defense and these guys are looking to rush, okay, they're not attacking your comp because it's the next one on the list. They're attacking your comp because they believe they are 100% confident being able to take it out. They believe they have a team that can literally hard counter the comp that you're bringing, okay? So if you try to create and force specific runes on units here, as a new or intermediate player, you are going to have a really big, difficult time trying to still stay up there, okay? The only thing that people that I see people do when it comes to arena defense is they play around with units that hard counter some of the most meta units out there, but more importantly, they create comps that lead you in or kind of draw you in, and then bring in some kind of trap kind of combination that allows them to either interrupt or just kind of cut in between. Okay, still very risky. Still would not focus on that. I would definitely focus on bringing in, just focusing on the arena offense. If you were going to, bring in units that are going to, allow yourself to get a little higher up in the rank here, and potentially make a comp that's going to demotivate people to attack it, whether it's a stall or whatever. Okay, so next topic is going to be building teams versus building units, and this is something that we've talked about many times when it comes to various educational videos that I did in the past. Okay, I want to say at least 4 to 5 people that pulled a specific unit, and they were just super excited. They were like, okay, man, I want to use this unit for this, and that. So what do I do? How do I make this work? I'm like, you cannot use a specific unit for this, and that. Okay, while it is a cool unit and it looks good with your transmog, regardless of the fact, there's always going to be a unit that's going to provide the necessary tools you need to get the job done better, more efficiently. It is what it is. Okay, I had somebody that was a huge fan of zinc, and she wanted to make zinc be absolutely like embedded into her comp. And I said to myself, what kind of comp we're talking about? She's like, well, I was thinking about, GB10, or I was thinking about something else. And I'm saying, zinc is a niche unit that is utilized for, farming, what's it called? Artifacts, right? A specific artifact team. Very niche component. Yes, you can throw it in the comp and make it work, or, make it a little damaged and a little heavy, this and that, whatever. But there's always going to be more units out there that are going to be a little bit more useful for you than a unit like zinc. It's a very niche unit, and it's just one of those things where you're not going to throw it in there. And there's honestly a lot of free-to-play units that you can even throw in there as far as that comp goes, if you need some more beneficial plugins. Either way, getting a little bit off target, the kind of focus that I want to make at is that we're building teams, not units. Try not to cater one specific unit and build around it. If you want to do that, for like PvP and whatnot, that makes sense. I get it. But when it comes to just general PvE, focus on the structure of the comp and what is the, perfect comp to be super successful. And keep in mind that sometimes the perfect comp is not the cutest comp. There's going to be a lot more free to play options in this kind of scenario versus non free to play options that's actually going to benefit you. Okay. And before I even get into the next topic, let me go ahead and segue into this, is that when we're creating some of these teams, sometimes we need to realize kind of where we stand when it comes to this game and, free to play versus pay to win. Okay. The underlining thing that I got in the account reviews is, in addition to that, was, let's go ahead and speed up my team. Childish, can you look at my comp and see what you can do to speed it up by a minute? I want to get a sub 40-second run. Right now I'm running a minute and a half. I'm like, okay, well, let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at that. I'm like, but let me ask you something. They're like, what's that? Are you free to play or are you pay to win? Oh, I'm free to play. I'm like, so let me ask you this. How much do you play per day? How much do you farm per day? Oh, I only can farm this amount. Well, if that's the case, then what is the reason for trying to speed up your comp? Well, yeah, I need more runes. Well, you do need more runes, but you also need crystals to continuously farm those runes. So, are you one of those people out there that have the resources, the finances to constantly feed crystals into farming over and over and over again? Or should we maybe tone it back a little bit and just make sure we're just getting the successful run? And, and once that's done, then we can move on to something else. Because one thing that you guys will realize, luckily for me, we got great people like, say, Shizo and Sean B, and amongst a ton of other people that have really, make videos out there that have showcased how good a comp can be, how fast it can be with the minimal requirements, the absolute minimum requirements. And the good thing about it is I've seen those videos, and I really do feel like some of those videos are just must-watch kind of videos. That being said, though, the underlying factor still remains, is that while you can, force it to be a 30-second, 40-second, whatever run, is that really necessary? Are you free to play? Is that necessary? Generally speaking, it is not. And the cool thing about that is that if you do not try to go for a comp that is heavy on the room requirements, that allows you to break away and use some of those high quality, high efficient runes in other aspects of the game. That's the things that matter when it comes to guild wars, when it comes to siege. If you're one of those people that are in competitive guilds, that allows you to kind of break away from having heavy, high quality runes on your PvE comps and letting them go on over to the PvP side. Now, again, I'm just talking about strictly the guild wars and the sieges. Obviously, when it comes to RTA, those runes are going to be pushed off you. This is a whole separate monster box here, but you guys get what I'm talking about here, okay? Keep in mind, if you are not a pay-to-win player, and you are relatively new or intermediate player, don't try to go ham and try to get yourself a 36 comp. Don't try to be the next Sean B or Cecilia. Do what you got to do to get a successful comp, consistent comp, and after that's done, then you can prioritize other stuff here until you decide to win the lottery and start spending a lot of money on the game. Okay. Now the next question was kind of cool because this is something that I actually could not answer to the best of my abilities, and that is siege team building. I have a little bit more experience on the RTA side. Siege team building is definitely out of my category or out of my element. But the interesting thing about it is that there are many tools out there that people can use in order to be a little bit more successful. So what I'm going to basically do, instead of trying to teach you what I do, what I would recommend, I'm going to tell you exactly what I do. And for those that don't know, one of the members that used to be in our Epic Fail community, Sarusa, is the founder of the SWGT, or the Summoners War game tools. Back in the day, it used to be the Summoners War guild tools, and it just had some basic information like, let me showcase the monster defenses and some of the counters to those. Okay, that was one of my favorite things to do on this website. Just kind of going in here, taking a look at what defenses are trending and the counters to do it, so I can learn a little bit about what are the trends, what is everybody utilizing, and the best ways to go about it. Right, this is an amazing tool just simply for that. But now this has gone from Summoners War guild tools to Summoners War game tools that provides way more information that you can never imagine. Okay, there's tons of things that you can take a look at here, and he's constantly giving updates on a regular basis to let you all know what's going on. The cool thing about it is, while I don't know if I can talk about this right now, he is in the works on the back end with the CompTours team to get a lot more things done for you guys on the site to make your experience when it comes to this website that much better. So I'm very excited for those of you guys that have no idea what this website is, to go and check it out. swgt.io. I initially use this simply to look up monster defenses, whether we're talking about the ones that are trending on the bottom right, or if we're just trying to search for a defense with a specific monster on the top left. Those are the main components that I utilize because I just kind of wanted to know what are some of the things people are doing. But keep in mind, this is also dependent on your situation when it comes to your guild. Okay, some of these ones that are trending might be trending for a higher level guild, right? If you're a G1 guild or a farming guild, you're probably not going to see some of the same guild war defense that you see in the higher ranks. Okay, because just some work better than others with the proper runes. Okay, and then in addition to that, I will say this, for those of you guys out there, and I know there's a lot of, of you guys guild members or people in your guilds that have, are really like aspiring competitive players and want to make their guild a little bit better. Just keep in mind, you're obviously going to know the quality of your team, the quality of your guild, and kind of where you sit. I really do recommend, even if they're not the best of comps and you can't really get the highest room quality and whatnot, some of the biggest things that I really recommend, if you do find that these are common teams that you can create, once you take a look at a website like this and see some of the defenses of your monster training, check in with your guild, check in with your guild mates, have the leader check in, do whatever you need to do, and see, does the majority of your guild have these specific units? Are they free to play? Are they pay to win? Can they make specific comps to force people to take down the tower and force people to utilize their counters for that? For example, right, one of the most common things that we've seen quite a bit, right? We've seen this like Ciara Orion Perna, Ciara Orion Rakan. We've seen so many, turn one strip defense breaks with some kind of sniping unit. We've seen that multiple times, right? This is a super old comp that is easily countered with a wide variety of things here. To this website, it's showing 227 public house. But the funny thing of it is that all of us have a wide variety of monster bucks, and all of us have the ability to counter this once or twice or maybe even 3 times. But if you were to talk to your guild and try to create a specific defense that everybody can make and everybody has relatively good runes, why not build a specific comp that everybody can do and basically stack your tower? Again, for the majority of you guys that might be watching this might be common knowledge, okay? But when it comes to siege strategy and trying to create specific comps that work, whether it's not the most successful comps that generate the most wins, just kind of keep in mind that there are hard counters to specific comps across the board. So if you create guild war defenses that have specific comps that can get hard countered by this, you're also utilizing the opponent's ability to counter it, so that when you bring it back and you bring multiple counters, you bring multiple teams in there with those kind of counters, they're not going to have as many options to do it. They're going to have to be shuffling runes out there. And again, if you are in a casual guild, a G1 guild, or maybe even G2 guild, this is going to be a common issue a lot of you guys are running with here. Not having enough counters to deal with it. And there's nothing worse than basically having to skip a tower that has been highlighted by your officers or your guild leader because you simply do not have the hard counters, because the opponent has created a tower that is super important to take down, and he just created a tower with so many of these specific one type of comps that you just can't deal with it. So again, keep in mind, TLDW, okay? Focus on when you're doing team building, focus on what you could do, but take a look at your guild in a whole and see if there's specific comps that you can use to go ahead and counter, or just create kind of a specific style, okay? Next one up, and this one is going to be basically the end. We already talked about this here, okay? The underlying issue with 99.9% of people out there, okay, is that they cannot do what they want to do because they do not have the room depth, they do not have the artifact depth, okay? And what I mean by that is that they don't have enough runes to really make everything shine. They see all these people with all these options here, and it's like, oh man, this is great and all, but they don't have the room to back it up, right? So there's only a handful of people out there, and most of those you see in the higher levels in these G3 guilds on the SWC that have so many runes and so many units and so many options. And sometimes that is a blessing, but that could also be a curse. Sometimes when you have a ton of options like that, it can get you kind of in trouble. But keep that in mind when you are trying to figure out your situation, because generally put, you're going to have the issue of not having enough not having enough runes to get it done. So the good thing about this is I'm going to leave you guys with a little bit of a cliffhanger. The coolest thing that I would probably say about the Summons for Chicago meetup is that I shared one thing that I do that generally I don't hear anybody do about, that is going to assist you in being able to farm 24/7. I kid you not. It's going to be an amazing video that I'm going to be dropping here in less than 24 to 48 hours. So if you guys are interested in how I go about farming basically day in and day out while maintaining a regular job, a family, and just managing my time wisely, I'm going to share that with you here in a few. Okay, so but thank you guys so much for checking out this video. I really do appreciate your support. Again, the account review segment of the Summoners War Chicago meetup was an absolute blast, because it gives me an opportunity to just check in one-on-one with the community that truly enjoys this game just as much as I do. And man, it was just cool to get their perspective. Like, again, I put it out there, and I make fun of myself all the time. While I do enjoy account reviews, there's 2 million other people out there in the game that are more knowledgeable than me. But the good thing about this is that, generally speaking, when the people are coming at me with the questions, I still feel relatively confident to provide them some insight, because they're generally relatively new to the game or have been playing for the game but haven't really focused on it. They're looking to take it up next level. So it was nice to be able to chime in and assist kind of Wycuz with some of the questions that we got over the course of the weekend here. And man, I hope we can do that again. So hopefully you guys stay tuned. here for the next meetup. I believe there's going to be one going down here in June. Date's not set yet, but I believe it's going to be in New York. So, like I said, whether it's me or Wycuz or whoever is going to be out there, I know they're going to be doing an account review segment. So if you don't get a chance to check it out, or if you didn't get a chance to go to this last meetup, just stick around. Stay tuned, okay? Keep it locked on the ChildishPlays YouTube channel because I'll give you guys some updates on that so you guys know what's going on here in the near future, okay? That's going to be it, fam. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's your boy Childish, ChildishPlays. Check it out. Take care, and we'll see you all in the next one. We're out.